I would say the difference when it comes to a tactical or practical level is literally it's super high touch, white glove, we used to say, low volume, high intensity, and those are the differences. Now that's where, and actually back to kind of the overarching premise, I keep using the word overarching today, that's where, it goes back to the first commentary as it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be CXO, chief whatever officer. It can be that it's a space that's really, really critical to one's organization. And that could be underrepresented groups, diverse groups, whatever it might be. Or it could be, as I said before, new talent in a new space. We're in the car making business and we want to get into chocolate and we don't know anything about chocolate. So we're going to start bringing in chocolate focused talent, which is critical to the organization. So it's less about it's the certain band of hiring, although it is in many cases, but it's not necessarily always about that. It's more about the high touch, white glove, strategic impact, low volume, and high intensity, which are, very glib statements. But to practical side of it, the amount of times I used to hear, you make how many hires? How few hires, I should say, a year? I'm making 200, 300. My team's making 3, 6, 1,000 hires a year, and you're making 50. And I get that. It's complicated, but it is a very high pressure situation. It's super exhilarating to have the CEO or the board or something like looking over your shoulder, but it's also exhausting. There's no kind of time off. A lot of, in my experience anyway, maybe not everybody's. There's a lot of weekend work. We have to be available whenever the talent's ready to talk, and so on. So I'm waffling a little bit, but it's all about long term. It's about high touch, sometimes opportunistic hiring. So not necessarily when there's an open rec. There's a lot of gray and trying to figure things out. But it's all these things take vision, long term perspective, mentorship, sponsorship, and so on. But much less about process and technology. Much more about consulting and empathy and EQ and so on and so forth. I threw a bunch of words in there. Hopefully some of them will stick.